My mom was a single mom raising, our children. But she always fed so many people. She never hesitated because she said, if you put food on the table for somebody, the Lord will always give you food on your table. We had a young man who approached my son and said, can I have a can of ravioli? And he said, sure. He popped it up and just ate it right there.
Wow, right there.
And then he said, can I have some more? And can my friends have some too? So you know that you made someone happy.
When you have hunger pains and your stomach growls, so we know those feelings as human beings.
Could you imagine having them all the time?
That was my point. Hey folks, it's us again at Stick a Fork in It. And today, we're talking about addressing hunger. Feeding Tampa Bay, we know food insecurity is a symptom and there's so much more, but sometimes it's very important to make sure that food is on the table to give you the strength and the well-being to be able to succeed at all. You think about seniors who are on fixed incomes that can't go out there like the rest of us and seek another job. So there's a lot of communities that really need the help. And at Feeding Tampa Bay, we have nearly 400 partners throughout the 10 counties that we serve that help us serve our communities right with their neighbors. So if you imagine, they know the folks by name, they create amazing relationships and even communities. And I had the extreme pleasure to do a story with an organization that's called Grace's Pantry. And I'm super excited to have Grace with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm very happy to be here.
Well, I had the lovely opportunity to meet you and your family and speak with you briefly. And like 5 minutes in, I was like, we have got to have this lady on the podcast, without a doubt.
You.
Without a doubt. So you have Grace's Pantry.
Yes, I do.
You serve Upper Pinellas and Pasco.
And Pasco, and we're pretty spread out into Hudson, and we have a big family.
Yeah. You have a lot of great connections. Now, those that you serve, I happen to experience kind of more of a retirement area, but you serve a number of those areas, but more. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, it started with one person addressing me that wanted to start a food pantry where they lived, and it was in a veterans village.
Okay.
And seniors. And I said, okay, I'll find out if I can do it or not, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And I conferred with my son, who was retired at the time, and I spoke to him, and he said, that's great. He said, we could feed more people.
Yeah.
And through word of mouth, we have now 9 food pantries.
Right.
And how we set it up is we set it up like a farmer's market, because I believe that people have pride and dignity, number one. And number two is I don't know if you have an allergy or if you don't like something.
Good point.
So I prefer you to choose what you want, because I know you're going to go home and make a meal then.
Yeah.
You're not going to go home and say, oh, I can't use this or I can't use that, or, oh, that was a waste of my time. I don't want it to be a waste of their time. I want it to be something that when they go home, they feel good about where they went and what they got.
Right. It's an experience, and much like how we do our grocery store here.
Exactly.
And we encourage our pantries, but you already had it going on.
Yeah.
But we encourage our pantry to go by choice, because folks who are struggling don't have a lot of choices that they can make on their own, and they should be able to choose their food.
And when you just get a box or you get a bag, it's so impersonal and sometimes a little demeaning.
Yeah.
This way it's like you're making your own choices. It's like a farmer's market, but at the end there's no cash register.
Right.
And everybody treats you with a smile and a kind word, which makes you feel even better.
Right.
And I have to say, I thank my 80 volunteers, because I love them, because they're all so sweet and kind to people. And I'm very proud of my son and my daughter-in-law. But first of all, I thank God, because without him, I could not do anything. He placed me where I was because he knew that there was going to be a need, and he's helped me grow.
So let's go back a little bit. What has inspired? So, for instance, I have personal experience why when I was looking for a job, hunger relief caught my eye. Why is hunger relief and dignity and all those key values that you have important to you? What happened in your life that turned you in that direction?
Well, when I was a child, we weren't wealthy. My mom was a single mom raising, our children. But she always fed so many people. And I'd say to her, but Mom, there's not enough. Don't worry. She'd go in the refrigerator. She'd pull out this and that. And she never hesitated because she said, if you put food on the table for somebody, the Lord will always give you food on your table. And that is so true. The thing is, I admired her for the way she was with people. When she passed, the funeral director came to us and said, you're going to need police escort. And we said, why? He said, your mother has a possession of 200 cars. And that was the hearts of so many people that she touched.
Right.
So I'm kind of living her legacy.
Yeah.
And trying to do what she taught me to do, to love people, to care about people, to see beyond just what I need, but to see the needs of others.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, my son, I had work, so my son my mom babysat for me, so he sort of was raised by her. So he was fortunate enough to have two moms, and two moms who had the same ideals and goals. And so he does it with all his heart.
He does.
He puts so much of himself into it, and it's so important to him. And to be able to, he gets home, he's tired, but he says, Ma, it's a good tired.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a worth it kind of tired when you serve.
It is worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate to have a daughter-in-law like Larissa come into our lives because she's wonderful and she feels the same way as we do.
Right.
So, that's how it all started. I guess maybe it started years ago, you know, and just knowing the needs of people and wanting to be there and knowing that even though they have pride and dignity.
Yeah, they do.
They want to belong to the community just like everybody else does, and they want to feel that they're loved.
Yeah, we all do.
And cared about.
And somebody cares about them.
Yes. And then on top of it all, I have God. He's my greatest companion, and he's my greatest leader.
So the very first pantry that you opened, that you did on your own.
The very first.
How far are we going back?
14 years.
Okay, 14 years ago. Very first, because that is, you were raised in a certain way that gave you the mindset to pay attention, to invite people to your table. And all that is a core value that was created in your family. But then an outside source kind of was like, well, maybe I can do this for others. So tell me about that first time.
Okay, I moved to Florida.
From where?
From New York.
Okay.
And I moved to Florida because I had a lot of health issues and everything else. But I've always been the type of person that, wants to help. Okay. So when I got there, I saw that there was a great need for food, with some of the little residents and how they were eating matzahs and water or crackers and water and sometimes yogurt 3 times a day. That was their meals.
Right.
And I went to my manager and I said to him, I think we need a food pantry. He said, well, did you ever run a food pantry before? I said, no, but I could learn.
Right.
And so he says, all right, in the employee lounge, I'll give you 2 shelves. The employee lounge has a lock. Here's a key. If you make that work, we'll talk again. And it worked. So then he took a utility closet and he emptied it out and he put shelves in it, painted it, put a refrigerator, put a freezer, did the whole 9 yards. And that was my first food pantry, real food pantry.
Right.
And then when the Landings of St. Andrews is where I live, and they've been very kind to me because when they renovated, they built me a food pantry in the building. And so I am very grateful for
That's
them
amazing.
because they gave me my start.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing place to live. We all love each other there.
Which is what you need.
Yes, and and that's how this is what it's all about, is having that sense of belonging, the sense of being family, because nobody's really a stranger to you.
Yeah.
Not unless you really want it to be, okay. And my son and my daughter-in-law have met many people that we feel very close to, and our volunteers definitely, we love them because we have 80 volunteers and they do a beautiful job. Yes. So that's a little bit of my story.
Yeah, and I find it interesting because, you started with one when you moved down here. You now have 9 because, your son and daughter-in-law joining you, and especially your son at first, gave you the opportunity to expand. He has the kind heart. He's been raised with one by his...
He's a
You
wonderful...
can tell.
I've been very blessed.
You have. Well, I think he's had some really great influences, I'll be honest. But he's just a wonderful guy, and, now you're doing this. What's next for Grace's Pantry?
Well, what's next is we want to continue growing and feeding as many people as we can. The whole thing is to be able to know that when you sit down to dinner, you've given someone else the opportunity to sit down and have a good dinner too.
Yeah.
It's that's our reward. Okay. A reward is when some of the pantries where there's children that come into, and some of our pop-up pantries, and they see a fruit or they see something like a can of Chef Boyardee, and to them is, wow, SpaghettiOs,
Cereal.
We had a young man who approached my son and said, "Can I have a can of ravioli?" And he said, "Sure." And he popped it up and just ate it right there.
Wow, right there.
And then he said, "Can I have some more? And can my friends have some too?" So you know that you made someone happy.
Yes.
Okay, you gave them something that they were happy to get and happy to eat.
And they were lacking.
And they were lacking, yes.
We talk about hunger, many of us, like we know cravings, like you crave something. When you have hunger pains and your stomach growls. So we know those feelings as human beings.
Could you imagine having them all the time?
That was my point. What it would feel like, to make difficult choices, to know that you're counting what you have left over from your Social Security, and you have to make it last. And like you said, eating 3 things of yogurt as your meals during the day. If you have pets, those are some really difficult decisions. You're sharing yours.
Shared their pet food.
Wow. But now this gives a dignified opportunity because, senior care, we have a senior day here called Swell at Feeding Tampa Bay. Not all seniors are like you and still working and going at it and have this great son and daughter-in-law that supports you all the way. Some have no one.
Yes, and that's so true.
Right? And creating those opportunities to access food with dignity, but then build those communities are really incredible.
We've seen the change in some people.
Yeah.
We've seen them. We've seen the smiles increase.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes us feel good. Someone approached me and said, well, how much do you make doing all this that you do? And I go, 0. And they said, why do you do it? And I told them, if I have to tell you why I do it, you'll never understand. Because it's got to be something that you have in you.
Yeah.
I think it's something that maybe was instilled in me.
Well, and aren't you still working? Don't you still work?
No, I don't work anymore. I'm an old lady.
No, you are not.
Yes, I am.
I thought, or is it you volunteer helping people at a center?
Oh, yes, I do volunteer. I do. What happens
beyond this?
Beyond this.
Okay, I thought you worked there, but you are volunteer. Not only do you feed 9 different communities,
but I volunteer furnishing apartments for people who have lost everything.
Yeah.
Or maybe just have had, there's a lot of moms that are come from abusive situations
Yes.
and move into an apartment. And so what I do is if somebody's getting rid of something, I kind of take it and give it on to the next
Yeah.
person and help them furnish their apartments.
So you're basically thrifting for folks in need.
Yes.
I love
Well,
it.
I have a thrift shop in one of my food pantries. And
What?
that thrift shop is, everything I get is for free. Everything that's given away is given out is for free. So while they're getting their food, we call it the closet, or it's called the closet. They can go to the closet and take whatever they need or whatever they want.
Well, I have some things I'm going to get to you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So, Grace, your wonderful intention for the community, your purpose of making sure people had healthy food, and in a dignified way, right?
Oh yes, it's very important.
It is important. And then you had your son and his wonderful wife, who has just joined us for a few minutes, join you. What was that? What happened? What was the catalyst for him to come on board?
Well, when someone approached me and asked me, would I be able to do a food pantry where they lived? And they approached me at my food pantry, and I said, well, I'll get back to you on that. Can you give me your number? And I sat down and spoke to Ed, and Ed said, that's wonderful. Yeah. He said, yeah, that's great. We can feed more people. Right. And said, yeah. So we met with them, and that's where it all started. And then from word of mouth, one community let the other community know, and we've grown to 9 food pantries.
Right. So Larissa, let's hear from you about what that was like. You have this wonderful family member. We know how wonderful she is and what you and your husband are, right? She's given the opportunity to grow. Was it a no-brainer for you guys to be like, okay? And were you working? Like, were you guys able to pivot and help this organization grow?
So Ed was retired.
Okay.
And now he's working actually harder than when he worked.
Oh,
so.
I retired to nonprofit, let me tell you.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly what we've done. And then Ed and I have been married for a year.
Okay.
It is a no-brainer. We all 3 of us have the same heart as far as feeding the community and helping the community. Ed and I started making sales calls and going out to different communities to expand the pantries. So we've been able to get 9 pantries right now.
Right. And then how long have you guys partnered with Feeding Tampa Bay?
About 5 months maybe at the most.
Okay. And what difference has that made?
It has
in
increased
Feeding Tampa Bay?
Supply of food tremendously, and it's been consistent, as opposed to we were getting issues with one supplier falling out a little bit, one supplier not having enough. So we were struggling in different. One week it would be meat, one week it would be produce. We seem to always be struggling to get enough for our pantries.
Right, for balance.
Absolutely.
Like to offer those balanced choices.
Absolutely.
Okay. And for you, Ed was retired. I think you now have as well. This is your full-time gig.
It is my full-time gig, yes.
Yep, this is your full-time gig now too. You're working harder than you ever have before, right?
Definitely physically, yes, absolutely.
So, and I watched at a pantry Ed getting up and in and out of a truck to get somebody some extra eggs and things like that. How does it make you feel I did not realize you guys were newlyweds. Mm-hmm. What is that making your household like? You're working together, you're impacting the community, you're exhausted because you've never worked so hard, which we at Feeding Tampa Bay can relate to. But when you lay down, what does it feel like?
We know that we've done a good job for the day. We always have success, no matter if things go wrong, if we get a flat tire or some kind of an issue with the day. At the end of the day, it's been a good day, no matter what we've gone through, because we've fed several people.
Yeah. And then community.
Absolutely.
Right? At these locations, because I got to experience one of yours in a community, a manufactured home community that was mostly seniors in Pasco County. I was blown away at the community. They were there early so they could all talk to each other.
Absolutely.
And then you guys came up with this plan that, at Feeding Tampa Bay, we try to give the equal amounts of most, but sometimes, we might one off and have 5 turkeys and 2 hams and a couple whole chickens and about 10 big packs. That's not enough for everyone that you serve. Tell us what you guys came up with so people could feel part of something and not feel like they were missing anything.
Absolutely. So we raffle off anything that we have special, whether it's a lobster tail or a turkey or a ham. Most of our facilities will actually raffle off. Everybody gets a ticket and they pull the ticket, and that's who gets that special prize for the week.
Well, and the thing, it's amazing. And I have to say, because we're now supported, Farmers Feeding Florida, we're supported by aquaculture, which now that's how you're getting clams and lobsters and fish and all that because of Farmers Feeding Florida, which is supporting those folks, which is amazing. But no one is sad.
Oh no, it's fun. It
They're
makes
like
it exciting. It's more of a carnival.
So across the table from them just got a turkey. That's so awesome. Yep. So instead of running out of something, you guys have built something where everybody's excited to see who wins it. I have not seen that in all my time in hunger relief. I thought it was a beautiful thing. Larissa, before we get back to Grace, tell us about your volunteer team, boots on the ground right now, and how pivotal they are.
Absolutely. We have over 80 volunteers in all of our different facilities. And then we also have pop-up pantries that we do with some of the county commissioners. And those volunteers also work with us. We couldn't do this without the volunteers. Yeah. So when we say it's just us 3, it's really more like 100 because we have so many volunteers that truly help out.
Yeah, that's true.
It's amazing. It's totally amazing.
They make it possible. But what I find unique for you guys, and I don't think it's unique, a lot of partners. We have nearly 400 partners that do the individual work in their communities, right? But my experience at the place I was at is those volunteers have deep roots and connections with their neighbors.
Absolutely.
So those are volunteers that are in that specific community where everyone's neighbors. They know each other. They depend on each other. Grace mentioned getting a call that they needed something, and she was like a rock star that walked in the room that day.
Oh, absolutely.
And spoke for a minute. I was like, they're going to do like the wave down the tables or something, because it was like, Grace is here. She's going to talk. She's going to speak. And she like addressed everybody. You couldn't hear a pin drop.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's like, not all superheroes wear capes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. She is definitely a superhero. And the pantries have created such cohesiveness within the communities. Everybody's gotten to know each other because they sit down for a couple of hours, and it's not just going to a crafting event or a bingo or anything. Right. They actually get to talk and visit with each other and get to know each other. And a lot of these people don't get out once or twice a week to the community centers. So it really helps with just getting to know each other and know their neighbors.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much for hopping in.
Thank you for having me.
It was the first time, but I couldn't not have you speak too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. So now we want to move into talking more about you as a person. Likes, dislikes, things like that. So pets-wise, cats or dogs or none?
I like both.
Animal lover too. Man.
I don't have any
need to get you
now
a cape.
because I'm too busy, and because of my age, because it's expensive. Because most places you live in, you have to pay pet fees, and I can't afford it. And plus, if the pet gets sick or something happens, I feel so terrible if I can't give the pet everything it needs.
Right. So you're a responsible pet lover.
Right. That's more important to me than having the pet, because having the pet and having the pet suffer is not really loving that pet, is it? To me, anyway.
No.
But I do share their pet.
You have a grand pet.
Oh, I love him.
Okay.
His name is Tyson, and he's my love.
Okay. So you have a pet in your life. So coffee or tea?
Both.
I love it. Both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Both.
Most easygoing woman I've met today. Now, this is a little odd one, but I find it very interesting. Last meal. Last food or the last meal that if you could choose what you would eat?
Something very simple. I eat very simple.
Okay.
I love chicken wings.
Okay, chicken wings.
Chicken wings, baked potato, and corn. That's it.
There we go. Okay. Now, this is a question we ask every show. if you could invite someone to join you at a table, not just someone, a number of them, let's say 3. So 4 people at a table. They could be with us or not. They could be someone you know, someone you don't, wish you knew. They could be someone that influenced you. Who would you invite to your table? What meal would you serve? And what would you want to talk to them about?
Well, I would invite people who have the same feeling I have and the same ideals, because then we would have something very common to talk about.
Okay.
Because I think sometimes I bore people with my pantry talk.
Oh, I don't think so. You reeled me in.
What I would serve, again, a simple meal, you know. I'm from a Mexican background, so it might even be tacos, rice, and beans, you know.
Okay, but that's good stuff.
And how many people, different people, you know, it could be just even someone who is down on their luck and they're around me, and I'll say, come on, join us. And I've done that many a times, and I feel that, you know, it doesn't matter who you are.
So you would invite someone in need.
Mm-hmm.
You would invite like-minded folks who are trying to build solutions for people in their community to make sure that they have what they need to thrive.
Mm-hmm. And then I'd invite someone who has the same love for God as I do.
Okay.
That's important in my life too.
That sounds like a wonderful collection of people.
Mm.
So thank you for coming and being with us today. And folks can find you at gracesfoodpantry.com.
Yes.
You always need volunteers, and they can see what communities are in.
We always need volunteers. We also need some sort of support system.
Right.
Because doing what we're doing, as you know, is costly.
Yep.
And just being the 3 of us.
Right. So the community can step up. If you live in Pasco and Pinellas County and there's a Grace Pantry near you, you need to come and lend a hand. And, of course, Feeding Tampa Bay is a partner of yours, and we make sure that you have a very eclectic choice of foods and very healthy
beautiful
foods.
food. Thank you so much. The foods are fantastic. People are thrilled.
And the quality.
And you know, they really are so happy with what they're getting because everything is fresh. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of fruits and vegetables and meat and everything, and they can make a complete meal and a healthy meal.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking care of so many.
And thank you.
And sharing that love that your mom started.